Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Your Delusional podcast hosted by myself, LaTerra, Wair. Welcome back to another episode of our video podcast. I want to give you guys a huge shout out and thank you so much because the last video podcast, which was the first video podcast we ever did really, really well, which is super cool. I really was expecting it to just do not as good. I don't really know. But yeah, so it did really well. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for that. That was great. Welcome to another week. I hope y'all's week is going well. My week is going pretty okay. It's very hectic. Next week, I have some super exciting news that I am sharing with everyone on my channel. It won't be on here because the news will be announced on Sunday. So if you want to stay tuned until Sunday, stay tuned until Sunday. Shameless plug. If you don't make it to the main channel, I will be talking about it the following week, which is not the next episode, but the episode after that one. And yeah. Also, if you guys did not know, if you are listening to our audio versions, the podcast is now streaming on YouTube in a video podcast form. I'm trying to work on getting it to stream in video across other platforms, but it's just not working out that way right now. So that is what that is. The podcast is also now available on Apple Podcasts. So we are now on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify if you figure out if you're a little delusional for your thoughts or not, you know. This week, something that's been on my mind very heavily is the idea of being delusional. And the idea of this podcast and what this is about. Not getting too deep into any tea or anything like that. There was one point in my life where I had someone who would tell me I'm delusional all the time, right? And I'd be like, what? Because I didn't really feel like I was delusional. I felt like the stuff that I was thinking and the stuff that I was trying to explain was very easy to follow, very, maybe not you agree, but you could definitely see how I'm getting to those conclusions, right? It just really never sat right with me or whatever. This person would call me delusional. And so eventually this was in my, my growth arc or whatever. I don't want to ever say I took some villain arc or anything like that, but there was a point in time where I did feel myself start to shift, and not shift in my outwardly actions necessarily, but shift in the way I was thinking and shift in the way I allowed people to treat me and talk to me, and I wasn't going for it. Stuff in that nature. This person, they told me something, and me being me, I was like, yeah, it's because I'm delusional or whatever, right? Because of that, I think that something conspired, and I was just super angry, and I was super tired of just feeling like my thoughts and the way I would go about things are delusional, because I really did not think that. And when I would run it by other people, of course, I'm not saying everyone told me that everything that I was saying was right. There were parts of what I was saying that they were like, you could have said this or explained this or whatever better. And that's totally fine. But the point of everything was to be like, you're not completely delusional in the thoughts and stuff that you're having. From that, I kind of turned inwardly. And I just, from that person specifically, and I kind of just stopped sharing as many thoughts, and I just kept a lot of stuff to myself, because in my head I was like, maybe you are delusional. And I thought, what better way to express myself than to share thoughts with people? And if I am delusional, eventually someone will tell me that I'm delusional for these thoughts and feelings that I'm having. Thus, we were born. Cool stuff. I say all that to say, there has been this resurgence. I've had this podcast going on for a year and a half, something like that. And there has been this resurgence around everything and about people calling everyone Delulu or being Delulu. It's it's a trend. I'm not saying I'm a trendsetter or nothing like that, right? I'm just saying that this is a concept that I think that I understood very early on, and it's something that I'm so glad that people are coming to the realization now, right? It seems like people are just kind of more so saying on theme now about people, you having to be delusional, and you have to be delusional because people will be mean to you. No one understands what you have going on in your mind. No one understands the ideas that you possess. No one can understand what you are trying to do like you can. You can sit here and explain. You can sit here and draw out storyboards, draw out advertisements, draw out campaigns of your ideas that you have. You can sit here and go through long written out manuscripts, long all this or whatever, and people can still not buy into it. People can still not think that it is something that is important. And there's no harm necessarily in that all the time. There are definitely people out there who are just fucking haters, right? But there's no harm in that all the time. Sometimes it's just as simple as like someone else can't see the vision for your life or for the purpose or for whatever you're trying to orchestrate like you can. And that's literally okay. The thing is, you have to be fucking delusional. I love that. I love that so bad. You have to be delusional to get things done, simply because sometimes you have to live in a world that is not here yet. And I don't know how to explain that to people, but you have to just live and breathe and sleep and eat and think and everything in the life that you want to have. I'm not saying to not live in reality, right? But there are times when you just have to do that. With me, for instance, with I want to say something so bad, but I can't say it yet. But like, tune in to next week's episode, and I'm going to give y'all a whole rundown of Delusion, to be honest with you. An example that I have that I can share with y'all in this moment is just my thing with content creation. When I started content creation, truly, I think I posted my first YouTube video on my channel when I was in 8th grade. I had a friend channel, I had all this, and then it was just something that I was doing. And throughout my adolescence, right, I was just making videos randomly, posting videos here and there, watching YouTube, And then I really just saw something in myself. This is something I wanted to do. Not even I saw something in myself. It's something that I wanted to do. And like, I sat there and I worked and I worked and I worked and I like learned new skills. I picked up new skills, like the job that I have now, what's in the field that I want, because these are things that I did before. And I always, in the back of my mind, I guess, or like if I just sit here and I'm just randomly thinking or whatever, I'm thinking about my future. I'm thinking about what I want to do. And in these moments, I'm not picturing where I'm at currently in this moment. Every time I'm picturing something, I'm thinking forwardly. I'm thinking future like, because I know that this is something that I want. In that, I don't live in that space at that very moment, but give it like weeks, months, years, however long the goal is tangibly needs to take, it will manifest itself. I saw this post on Instagram, and I think I shared it on my Instagram story. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go over and follow me. I'm pretty active on there. It was basically just saying like, I will win at life because I'm a crazy bitch, right? And real as fuck. I think that's so crazy, because I think that, yeah, I will win at life because I am so delusional in the head. I'm going on this tangent about delusion, and I do need to break this down real quick. I am not saying that you need to be delusional in a way that is harmful to you or other people, or in a way that is like stalking and weird and all that kind of stuff, right? Or delusional in a way that is damaging your life. I'm saying that you need to be delusional in a way that is productive for your life, as well as it helps you stay on track and stay on path to obtaining, or stay on track and on path to attaining the goals that you want to attain in your life. I think that you have to be so delusional. And I think that that's just the point. And I'm super glad that there's a resurgence of the word being delulu, or the trend of being delulu. And it's giving people are seeing it. People are buying into it, because I believe it. I think you have to believe that anything you want, you can achieve. if you work hard for it, if you plan for it, if you see it for yourself, you can have anything that you want to have in this world. I truly do believe that. I get that there are situations and there are circumstances, and everyone's life is not the same and everyone doesn't have the same building blocks, but you really can. I truly believe you really can have anything or a version of anything that you want, right? If you work for it. You just have to be delusional enough to believe that yourself. It'll come to fruition. Every successful person has a little bit of delusion within them. You know, I think in every success story that we see, there was someone who told them that they weren't going to achieve that. There's someone who told them that they're dreaming too big. There's someone that told them that maybe do this version of this because this is a little too much. And in every success story, that person literally said, no, I have to not listen to this. I have to not let the voices of the people who don't see my vision the way I see my vision get in my way, because that is what stops a lot of people from doing a lot of things. People just don't see things, and maybe it's not necessarily even in a bad way, to be very honest with you. Sometimes people just don't see things because that's just something they've never seen or wanted for their life. One thing that hit me crazily, this is also like no job slander. I think if you have a job and you're making money and you doing what you're doing, that's great for you, right? What I'm about to say is no job slander, nothing like that. There are people who will go and they will work a mundane job over and over and over and over and over and over. And some people will own a food truck, right? And they will do a 9-to-5 every day in a food truck for the rest of their life. And they're very happy that they've accomplished this job of opening a successful food truck that can keep up a 9-to-5, can raise a family, all that. And that's a great feat. It is. I'm not taking that away from anyone. Me, personally, if I had a food truck that was that successful, I would try and open a brick and mortar store just because it has the opportunity to grow your business further. But the way I just said me, because I want to grow in every aspect that I can, because that's just what I want for my life. Sometimes what you want for your life is not what everyone else wants for their life, but everyone else will input on your life. You get what I'm saying? That's where the weird in between comes in, the deluluness comes in, because like those outside people, they're going to talk a little bad to you. They're going to be a little loud. You just can't listen to them. And if you do listen to them, you have to just be like, yeah, that's cool. I understand what you're saying, but I'm going to be delusional and I'm going to live in this truth that I live in right now so I can accomplish what I want to accomplish, because my life isn't your life. And unfortunately, that may sound a little meanish, but like sometimes that just is what that is. I think that a lot of people, like a lot of successful people, will just tell you that for real. On this journey and being successful, you will have people who tell you that you're delusional all the time, and that's a cost that you got to pay. You just can't be defeated by that. You can't be let down by that anything. It's just you got to charge it to the game and keep going. I think the most delusional thing that you could do is believing in yourself. Because truly, it is so hard every day to get up, especially if you're someone who is starting something new. Things that just get off the ground and just start, they're not always going to work, right? They're not always going to be these amazing things. They're not always going to be profitable. You know, people say that in the first couple years that you own a business, the first couple years are not profitable for you. As a tech girly, when I first started my media business, those first couple years I was taking clients and doing like photo shoots and video shoots and doing audio and voiceover, and I was making some coins. But also on the other end of that, I was having to buy tech equipment. Like I'm having to buy $2,000 cameras, like $200, $300 mics, like all this type of stuff. And definitely stuff like that comes along with the process, but it's just like you won't necessarily be profitable. And sometimes it makes it feel like you are being delusional. It makes you think, how are people actually surviving in this space? What am I doing? Maybe the space is oversaturated. Maybe I'm not going to make any money. Maybe I was delusional for thinking that I should start up this. But you have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe that the work that you put in is going to benefit you. It's going to give you rewards. You have to think that anything that I say that I want to do, I can do it if I work hard for it. You have to believe in yourself. And if you can't believe in yourself, sometimes, unfortunately, you're just not the person to be doing the thing that you say you want to do. Sometimes you got to be realistic and know the type of person that you are. And if you're someone who just slacks off, unfortunately, you got to be real. You got to be like, look, bro, you got to pick it up this time so we could be successful and this can work out for us, you know? But I do think that believing in yourself can be hard, and it can make you feel very delusional. It can make you feel very unseen. It's scary, but you could definitely do it. And realistically, you just have to be a little delusional, because like all the shots you don't take in being delusional, you tend to miss out on. And that's just kind of scary as well. And you don't want to miss out on those things. So do all the tasks you can do, shoot all the shots, send all those brand inquisitions, like do it all. Try out the content, go join that team, go to that social outing. Like, you have to be a little delusional for life to work out for you. You are already in the spaces that you want to be in, and you have to see that for yourself, and you have to believe that. And if you live in that truth, I believe that it definitely can and will come true for you. At the end of the day, something that I've been really thinking about is the time that we have here on earth. Like, it's kind of limited, for real. Like, you don't really have time to sit here and doubt doing the things you want to do, because eventually, like, your body will slow you down. So even if there's something that you wanted to do at one point in time, physically, for example, the older you get, the harder that may be to attain. And you should just do it, and just, you know, just like, whatever you want to do, don't let something stop you. And if you are so in your head about it, just pretend to be delusional for a little bit, and just pretend to know that it worked out for you, so that it can work out for you. And also, another thing, if other people are the reason why you're not doing something, personally, I say screw those other people, because I tend to have learned that a lot of the stuff that the people like think that I'm weird for doing and all this kind of stuff, later on in life, it just kind of seems like they end up doing similar situations or similar things. And a lot of times it's just like, people gain confidence at different levels in their life, and people like just see different things at different levels of their life, and that's literally fine. So don't let other people also, like I said earlier, just not believing in what you want to do necessarily, if it's a good idea, stop you from doing what you want to do. Moving forward to the next topic, truly, there will be trials and tribulations in being delusional. I know that I'm like hyping this up to say it's like this great thing and this, but there definitely will be trials and tribulations, right? And anything that you do, there will be trials and tribulations. And anything that you do, there will be hardships. There will be times that you just don't want to do it anymore. And that's where discipline comes in. That's where you have to be so determined. You have to be so certain of the why that you started, that it just feels like it looks stupid of you to stop. That's something that I've always thought about. I have to be so invested in why I started that if I stop, it just looks kind of dumb. It makes me feel kind of dumb in a personal or for personal reasons. So I just got to keep going, because the trials, they're going to be there. The tribulations, they gonna come. You gotta be resilient, for real. You gotta be strong. You gotta be certain and purpose driven, and just know that you will get through it, and just know that there will be an other side. There will be the good side. There will be the part where you're on the other end and you're telling the story about how you thought you weren't going to get through this at all, but you did. I know that people say it's like super corny and everything, but you guys know how there's that old saying that goes, without a test, there is no testimonial. And it's super true though, for real. And me being someone who's like gone through certain things, without certain tests that I went through, I definitely would not have a testimonial. I definitely would not be as thankful as I am in this life to be here, to be happy. I wouldn't be as motivated. I would just kind of still be living the life and going about the same things that I was going about. And there's nothing wrong with those things. I don't think that I've ever necessarily like hated parts of my life. There are parts of my life that I definitely could have lived without, but there are also parts of my life that were shitty and I had to go through because I needed to understand the lessons that were in them. As crappy as that may sound, I really did need to understand those lessons. So I am glad that I went through them at the end of the day. You have to think that there is something to get better from. A book that I read is Atomic Habits. It's a super good book. Everyone talked about it like a couple of months, not even months, it's probably years ago now. It was booming during the pandemic times, all this kind of stuff. But in the book, it truly does tell you about getting 1% better every single day. Or that's something that it talks about. It talks about getting 1% better every single day. If you go to the gym just one day a week and you never went the year before, that's 52 more times than last year that you went to the gym. And that's 1% better, at least, you know what I mean? That's an amazing thing to do. And so you have to think that there will be downs and you just have to push through those downs. You have to think that you want to get better in that kind of hardship kind of time, and it'll be okay. One thing in the book that I thought that was super important was when he kind of talks about the process of an ice melting. When you are looking at something, sometimes it seems as if it's not getting better, right? But if you change the temperature down 1 degree, you don't feel the difference necessarily. If you are melting ice starts to melt at a certain temperature. So if you're going from 0 degrees to 15 degrees, you're not really going to see a difference in the solidness of an object. But if you keep going from 15 to 30, you still will not really see a difference. From 30 to 31, will not see a difference. From 31 to 32, that ice will begin to melt. Those first 32 degrees, you saw no difference in them, but that does not mean that it was not happening. Progress was not being made. But there will be a point where you will start to see the changes, but you have to definitely work towards those changes and make sure that you are making them. That's something that to also keep in mind when you're thinking about it and thinking about like, yeah, you gotta be delusional a little bit, but I do know that this change is being made, and I do know that what I'm saying I'm doing, it is making a difference in what's happening in me type of situation. Well, I'm just here to say, keep your head up. Keep grinding, keep working, and you're going to see those good trials, those good tribulations and everything come to fruition for you, I believe. And then like another thing I want to say is everything is really only delusional until it happens. Like, and that's really the gag, is that something is only delusional to people until you do it. You're only delusional until you make that thing happen. And then everyone's like, oh yeah, now you're a success story. Now you're the 1 in a million story. Now you're the this, now you're the that. So just keep that in mind, like, and be delusional, be driven, be motivated. That's something basically that just is coming back around in time right now and in the age of the internet again. And people are just a lot more open to being delusional and a lot more open to just seeing what's out there and believing in themselves and believing in their dreams and not really caring whether or not people say like it won't happen. Claps to that, because I'm glad we're getting there again. So getting into the Your Delusional topic, the Your Delusional topic today was a topic that says manifesting is a lazy person's way of getting out of not accomplishing their dreams. I think that that's a very hot take. I definitely understand where they're getting to, because if you're someone who's just like, I'm manifesting this, but there is no work that's being put into it, are you really working towards your dreams? Are you really manifesting something? Because it's literally just a dream at that point. You're not putting in any effort, any work, anything. I do think that's slightly delusional, and you should think about that. But I don't think that manifesting is pointless. Like, I'm someone who's a manifester, and manifesting could just be as simple as making a vision board. I made a video on my YouTube channel earlier this year just kind of talking about my vision board that I was bringing to people and I wanted to share. And a lot of the ideas, actually, currently recording this right now, it's May the 20th, I think. Yeah, it's May the 20th. So we're not even like halfway through the year. And a lot of things on my vision board have already come to fruition. And it's just because those are the things that I set out. I put my intention out into the world, as well as I gave myself a good idea of like, this is what we want to work for, and this is what we want to manifest for ourselves. So I don't think there's anything wrong with manifesting your dreams. I think that manifesting your dreams definitely gives you like a good layout and a good perspective, and it gives you drive and motivation sometimes to do what you want to do. But I wouldn't say it's lazy. I could see where they're coming from, but no, I don't think that overall manifesting is bad. Let us know what you guys do think about your delusional topic. Let us know if you have any like your delusional questions or anything like that you want to ask. You can specify if you want me to save them for guest episodes where 2 people can chime in, or just me, or whatever. Our media company production is at LT Legacy Productions, and you can either DM them with the your delusional questions or the what we watching topics, or you can leave them down in the comments below. I believe you can comment as well on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you're listening. Moving along, we're getting into the what we watching. So what we watching is a segment where I tell you guys a little bit about what I'm watching. You can chime in if you've seen the show. Let me know what you thought about it. If it's a movie, let me know what you thought about it, all that kind of stuff. So currently what I'm watching is called Once Upon a Time. I actually just finished it. This is a very, very, very old show. I was yapping and it was brought to my attention that I definitely am a CW ABC sitcom watching girly. If you know, you know. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In my personal opinion, I think that it gives me hope, it gives me whimsy, and it is where my delusion started. Yeah, that in HGTV. But so I'm currently watching Once Upon a Time. It's basically a fairy tale story TV show. So all the characters, this show starts out with all the characters, and they were cursed out of their homeland with no memory of who they are. And then you go throughout the story and you get to learn who everyone is. And then there's Emma, who is the main character of the story in the first season, and she is basically a like a bails bond lady who comes and collects people up for when they're not acting right. And then she finds herself in Storybrooke, where she also interacts with her son Henry, and then you get to meet Regina and Charming and Snow and all these people. So it's super good show. It's very fun. It's very fresh. It's a cool take on storytales. It's a cool take on fairy tales if that's your jam. I just kind of stumbled upon it because it was just seeming like something very interesting, and I wasn't really disappointed. So if I was going to rate the show, I would probably rate it a solid 7 out of 10. It's a very decent TV show. It's not my favorite TV show, but I would watch it again. Let me know what you guys are watching in the comments or on the DMs. Guys, we are at the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you guys so much for listening to me yap. Please let me know what you guys think. Please let me know your thoughts and opinions on what we talked about today. Are you delusional? What are some of your delusional dreams that you want to make true? What are things that you're really working towards it? Or maybe just let me know, vent to me in the comments. Tell me what people have been telling you is delusional and what you may be thinking is, and you just need some advice on if it's gonna work or not. I don't know. Be sure to follow our production company at LT Legacy Productions on Instagram and on Facebook. Be sure to follow my personal social media at the LaTerra Wair. This is where you'll see more real-time updates about the podcast. Also, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please be sure to rate the show. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how we're doing. I hope you're rating it 5 stars, but if not, I appreciate you rating it anyway. And if you are on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe as well as like and comment on this video. And I will see you guys in the next episode.